Maybe that's the right attitude.
You don't have to do anything. You have to do anything. You have to steal a camera. You have to steal film.
Right.
You have to steal money.
Right.
And I mean, you know, either you go to university. In my case, I had to go to university to be able to be allowed to use equipment. Right, Brian? You know,
Yep,
NYU. I had
that's
to,
right.
and as long as we were there to use the equipment and see some films and take the rest of the curriculum and that sort of thing, and just get that chance to work. Other kids, when I started teaching at NYU a few years later, there were a lot of my students who were very rich, and their fathers had bought them 60mm Eclair cameras and that sort of thing, and but they had no story to tell. They said, so I don't know what to do. I just don't, you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
You wanted to get them by the
Dilettantes.
throat. Well, I said, no, you shoot the film. think of something, just, you know. But I couldn't. You can't do that if they don't have it. If they don't feel like putting anything on film. What do you do? You know, they're not going to be able
Take
to do
the
anything.
camera away from them.
That's
and
right.
you make
We'll
the
use it.
picture.
We'll use the camera.
Right.
Looking ahead. Lower the bats.
Lower the bats.
What do you want us to do about that?
Cut, reset, motor came.
Why should they sort it?
Let this motor go, sorry, Stephen. Just want to get your dialogue out. Fuck it there, man.
Through it, Alice.
I was throwing it down there.
Put on the balaclavas and kill one of them.
Fucking motor. Reset, boys. Motor, man, sorry.
There's no doubt you've heard some folk bitching about us early years.
From the top, we'll go again.
That was a take, man.
Okay.
Yeah, just birds.
One more for safety, then we'll
Can
go
deal
back
with
forward.
birds.
And look ahead. That car.
I can hear you.
I think it's parking. Okay.
You can go up.
All
You're
right.
good.
And action. Right, I'm coming down, right? Pause. We're doing a bit of filming.
Alright, that's fine.
Is that alright? Sorry, mate.
No, it's fine. You just take the keys out. 550, just stand in other units. It's a false alarm, good intent.
I think how I view the world largely comes from films and the films I saw when I was younger. That can mean I'm quite optimistic and I've got a childlike view of the world, which can be good things, but it can also make me quite naive. For example, in a film, sometimes a character will have to go through about half an hour of hurdles to get what they want, and that's usually compressed and put into a montage. But in real life, the timeline isn't compressed, and it can take a bit longer than you hoped. Since we started filming, I've got engaged, married. One of our main actors has conceived and will welcome a son. Another main actor has went to Camp America, did Camp America, toured America, and came back. And we're still about halfway through. But that's what we signed up for. What is directing? I think to ask that you need to ask, what is cinema? It's storytelling with moving images. Now in films, a lot of people contribute to putting that image up on the screen. Director of photography, set designers, costume designers, makeup artists, visual effects artists. But at this level, it's the director that's doing a bit of everything. So, what is good directing in that case? The one shots, the big one takes of Scorsese are considered masterpieces. But is it because it's a technical exercise that they're considered great shots or great scenes? And if you compare them to the films of Richard Linklater or the later films of Paul Thomas Anderson, and it's a more subtle, a deceptively simple directing style, not a lot of flashy camera movement, does that make them lesser directors than Scorsese? I wouldn't say so. I would say that great directing is doing what's right for the film and using the right shots to achieve the effect you want to achieve within that scene, within the film. And that takes a bit of weight off your shoulders, because I think if you sit down and think, how do I direct this well, you'll run into the same problems you would if someone said to you, be funny, act natural. You know, that's a hard task, and it's quite vague and it's quite open. So what I found beneficial was thinking, what's the experience I'm trying to give the audience? How do I maximise that experience for the audience? What do I need to do that's right for the scene? how do I want the audience to feel, and bring it back to there, and that takes a lot of weight off, and it means you can start thinking about it a bit more clearly. What's happened in the scene before? Should there be contrast to the scene before? If it was quite a cold or quite a dark scene, should the mood be lifted here? Should the tone change? Should we slow things down a wee bit? There's lots of questions you can answer, and it makes it a bit easier to break it down. Now I think shot listing, that helps quite a lot with me, just working out the very basics, so when then you get down to do it, you're not thinking, right, what do I need to do here? Because there's always a million things going wrong, or a million things that feel like they're going wrong, and it can be quite hard to concentrate. But if you've got all the basic information you want to get, if you've got the shots and everything that's needed for this scene to make sense, then you can loosen up a bit when you get there.
And then here, up here, can we get John Finney? To there, mate, here.
In terms of working with actors, I think the most important thing is empathy. Maybe try acting yourself, maybe go and do an improv class, or do a self-tape and realise how daunting it is to have a camera pointed at you, lights looking at you, a boom above your head, people behind the camera, people talking behind the camera, other actors looking at you for your lines. Try to remember those lines, wearing a costume, makeup, pretend to be someone else, and realise that that is hard. And as much as actors might get slagged for being divas, the good ones are something special. So just realise that it's a difficult task, and have empathy for them and allow them to see their ideas through. Don't shut them down. If you see something you don't like, don't yell cut and then say no, that's not right, that's not what I told you to do. Just let them see it through. After have a discussion, just use simple language. Don't need to talk about technique or any bullshit. Maybe just something simple but maybe go a bit quieter here, or I think it should be a wee bit more gentle here. What do you think? And having a bit of cooperation, and that's what I found to be the most useful, and I think that people get a lot out of that. I don't think if you give them line readings and walk them through, say here, 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 to me that feels like, well, what's the point in them being there? Obviously you're not having robots doing it, but if an actor comes on board, they want to do their art, they want to show what they can do and fill it out and flesh it out and make it their own, even though it's all within the one film, and there's a unity to that, but within reason, let them do their thing. And I think you just need to see ideas through and then discuss it. If it's not right, tweak it. But I don't know if there's any magic to it. I've read a lot of books in directing, listened to interviews and commentary, and I've not heard anyone speak about any real magic to it. I think it's just cast the right people, make sure everyone understands the script, and let them at it.
You come and sort me out, you pikey bastard. Raymond's lying in his mum's bed, half dead, and you're down here bickering about milk and fucking rolls.
I think it can be difficult for people who consider themselves creative, because you're having to marry one world, the one that's in your head, with the real world. And I think part of the reason you develop this inner world in your imagination is to escape the real world and to avoid pain or avoid boredom, or to go somewhere where you control all the outcomes. But then to see this idea through and to get satisfaction from it, you have to bring the two together. And then what happens if that idea you bring out here has all these imperfections, people shoot it down? Where do you go from there? You can't retreat back into that world where it once was, because it's been spoiled. And out here, people have realised that you're not as great as you thought you were in here. So I can empathise with people who are maybe hesitating to see things through. But what I would say is that having something that you can hold in your hand, having footage or whatever the result is that you're trying to achieve, having that and being able to see what you've got, going through your mistakes, learning from it, realising what you can do, and then seeing the floor of your confidence raise when you go to try the next thing. Every time I'm trying to do a new scene, we've had a scene with 30 people, 30 cast members, we've had new actors, people I've never met before, all these things that could go wrong, people not turning up, the weather changing, the scene not working, not making sense, people not getting it, people laughing at it, people walking by, disrupting the scene, all these things that could go wrong. It makes you feel sick, you want to run away before you're going to shoot anything, but then the next time you go to shoot something, you're that much more confident, and then you realise you just need to let it go and say, right, I know what we need to get here, how do I improvise, how do I get creative, and that can be really satisfying. You end up with a result that you didn't expect to go out with, and it maybe be better, or it's maybe something that's shorter, and maybe that's for the better. But having something, an actual result, rather than just this, maybe one day I'll see this through, feels a lot better. So if you are in that position and you're about to marry those two worlds together, I'd say good luck, and it's worth it.
Looking dead ahead, and then on action, Graham, you're walking forward. And see what, can I get you doing this? Walking forward, ditching one of the bats, and then just picking one up. So coming forward, throw one to the side, and then just stand like that, like you're about to swing. Right. That sound? See again? Aye, but no as far as that, because I'll come up to there. So I would say maybe about, see if you come up to here, toss it, and then just stand like that. Is that alright? So maybe it makes sense to toss the one that you're right-handed. Toss that and then bring the left over. Do that, then pick up. Right, good man.
I think the hardest thing at this stage is the time it's taken. Like I said, a lot's happened since we started filming, and you plan so much for having these scenes shot by then. You say, okay, who can all make it on this date? Okay, 6 weeks from now is as soon as we can get everyone together in this location at this time. And then life happens, someone can't make it, it's not their fault, and you're pushed back another 6 weeks, and you're sitting saying, I'm ready to go just now, I could do this right now. And it's really frustrating. But what are your options? I've read a lot about other careers, other filmmakers, other artists and entrepreneurs, and this seems to be the way of it. It's how you deal with these matters that are out with your control. So what are your choices? Either you don't start in the first place, and you just say, oh no, I'll wait till I have all these things lined up and then I'll go for it, which is going to be never. Or you say, right, I give up, I can't take this, go and do something else. Or you find a way to deal with it. But in our case, the scenes aren't getting shot as quickly as I'd like. And that sounds very petty, and it is, but at the time it's heartbreaking, and you think, I'm going to have this done by this time, and you feel like a total failure because you've not had that done. And you think, this is never going to happen, I'm moving at a snail's pace here, I'm getting half the scene shot here and half the scene shot there, and it's not working. But these are the circumstances you're in. You don't have every resource at hand. Not everyone has that. You have what you have, and it's what you do with that that's going to be the end result. So make it work. Find a way to live in between. Book your next scene. What else can you shoot just now? Can you shoot stuff yourself? Can you shoot stuff with just 2 or 3 people? Can you work around it? And just find a way to get it done. That seems to be what I need to tell myself. And if you're out there and you're in the same position, then I empathise, because it is really frustrating when you are a one-man band in any endeavour and you're trying to make something happen, and it's maybe not something that your family is involved in. It's not someone where you can have a mentor sitting there, someone taking under your wing saying, oh, and when I was in that position, here's what I'd done, and then you crack the nut and that's it done. You're trying to figure it out, and it can be disheartening at times, but what we do have so far, I'm delighted with. So the only choice we've got is to press on.